Have you heard about this guy Michael Smith, who is a 52-year-old musician from Carolina? He has been arrested for allegedly creating hundreds of thousands of AI songs, uploading them to Spotify, and then using bots to generate over $10 million worth of revenue. That's right, I said $10 million. Smith is the first big case to come to light, but I predict there will be many more cases like this in the future. And guess what? He is facing up to 60 years in prison. 60 years! Is it me, or does that sound a tad extreme? Now, a quick how-to for all you DIY fraudsters out there. This is about volume. It's not about having a song or a few songs. This is about a library, as we've been talking about for many years on this channel. What we have got to do is we have got to create volume. Now, when you are creating volume, especially for fraud, then you don't need to have 3 or 4 minute songs, but you kind of do need to break that 30-second mark where you are going to get monetized. So most of the time, people who are making AI tracks are making them around about 60 seconds long. You want to create a song which is long enough to get paid, but not too short to flag and get any attention. Now, when you are uploading, as we know, several aggregators, instead of uploading per song, will allow you to upload as a record label, so you can have as many profiles and as many uploads as you want for a very small amount of money. Now, due to the wonders of brand new AI technology, you can create wonderful masterpieces in music in just seconds. So you have no problem building up your library. And therefore, you start to bring in some bots into hundreds, if not thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of tracks that you have created in a very short amount of time. And voila, over a period of time, you have created your very own multi-million-dollar fraud industry. Michael Smith was reportedly getting over 650,000 streams every single day. And in steps the FBI, who have said, the FBI remains dedicated to plucking out those who manipulate advanced technology to receive illicit profits and infringe on the genuine artistic talents of others. I guess the major labels maybe don't count in this? And on the prosecution side, US Attorney Damian has said, Smith stole millions in royalties that should have been paid to musicians, songwriters, and other rights holders whose songs were legitimately streamed. Come on now, we were going to pay that $10 million to these independent artists, but now we can't because someone has stolen it. Oh, what a rogue. Look, before we go after Spotify or any of the DSPs, I think it's fair to say that you'd be stupid not to think that these tactics are being done not just by independent people from their bedroom, but from some of the biggest labels on the planet. Like, this is not new. This is not tactics that we have not seen and are not seeing on a general day-to-day basis. Just because they aren't using AI songs, it doesn't mean they aren't using bots to generate massive amounts of wealth and income from the songs that have already been uploaded to Spotify and other DSPs. The issue I have here is this is not about an art versus not art argument, which is what I believe that most people are trying to make this into. This, to me, is about we steal from you, acceptable, you steal from us, this is completely unacceptable. And that, to me, is completely unacceptable. My issue here is, where is the line? Where is the grey area when using AI to write songs? How much AI is too much and therefore considered cheating? Now, for the older generation who might remember this, but you might remember back in a day, which was a Wednesday, there was a company called Line 6 who created tone modeling with their guitar amplification. So up until that point, you get a big old JCM 800, you'd crank it up, you'd put a microphone on it, and that's how would you record your sound. And then all of a sudden, all of these sounds were inbuilt in this little box, and everyone was like, it's a disgrace, you're not actually doing the work. And back in the day, you'd have to record a drummer with all the best microphones. And nowadays, I can literally spend 5 seconds programming 1 bar of drums into my software, and then I can copy and paste that for 3.5 minutes and go, that's my drums done. Is that cheating? Is that not cheating? All of a sudden, that's completely acceptable, but AI isn't acceptable. So whether we like it or not, AI is going to create some amazing music. It probably already is. And to be honest with you, I don't know that many musicians that are against it. They might say it's not for me, I don't want to use it, or I don't need to use it. But the support of AI when it comes to certain lyrics or certain sounds or certain structure doesn't seem to be an issue. So is this about number manipulation, i.e. how many streams it has had from fake bots? And if it is, are you telling me that the music industry is on its high horse around manipulating numbers? Are you kidding me? Are you joking me? That's literally what a record label is. A record label's job is to take music, if it hasn't been created, and manipulate the numbers to get as many people to hear it as possible. So if that's the gig, to manipulate the numbers for the sake of profit, which let's face it is what every record label is on the planet to do, then are we saying that it doesn't count if it's a record label, but it does count if it's Michael Smith who's in his house in Carolina? Are we pretending, are we just closing our ears and pretending that this doesn't happen with the biggest record labels in the world, with the biggest artists in the world, and all of their stuff is completely organic, but Michael Smith's is completely botted, so therefore he should get 60 years in prison? So as someone who works with artists all day, every day, and has done for many, many, many years, let me tell you something. There is not a day goes past where someone doesn't say to me something like, now don't get mad at me, or I might have done something that I shouldn't, or I hired a company who promised that there weren't going to be bots, but it turns out that they were bots, and they've ruined my fans also, or they've got a bunch of followers on Instagram, and now all of a sudden I'm being shown to the wrong people. But this is not new information. I have heard this thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and let's face it, if we're all honest, we've all done certain things to try and manipulate because we don't have the patience, because we want the wins, because we want this to work, and we're therefore trying to bend the rules. We all went through the follow for a follow back in 2017 or 2018, and then by 2020 we went, that was a bit stupid. Now I'm following 4,000 people, and every time I go on my TikTok, on my Instagram, I'm getting Gordon Ramsay. Anybody who says they haven't ever tried to manipulate the system in any way is either lying or very lucky or immensely talented, and well done you, that's fantastic. You can stay on your high horse. Now let me just say, I am not standing up for Michael Smith. I'm not saying that this was the right thing to do, although I think it's very clever what he's done, using AI to create a bunch of tracks and then bot them to get a bunch of money. But I don't like the hypocrisy. I mean, for me, he's gamified the system, which the music industry has been gamifying the system for 60 or 70 years. I mean, the thing that gets me is this has been going on. Michael Smith was doing this from 2017. Right at this moment, it's coming close, it's getting close to the end of 2024. We're talking about 7 to 8 years he's been doing this. So all of this AI fraud I keep hearing about, the AI fraud, well, it's taken 8 years. And he got nearly $12 million. Like, come on, where's the AI fraud? What's going on? And this is one person. You know there are a lot of people, because if you scratch the surface and go and find lots of playlists, how many times do you find profiles on Spotify with no information and one track, and it's got 70,000 plays? And you're like, that doesn't sound right. Whether it's Spotify, whether it's Deezer, whether it's Tidal, whether it's somebody else, someone is making this, and therefore they are gamifying the system. The thing that pisses me off is major labels have been doing this and ripping artists off for decades. Labels have been setting up their own systems and gamifying to manipulate the numbers for their own gain for decades. DSPs have had the chips stacked up against artists for years and years. Let's not pretend that these are some angelic companies that all of a sudden are getting ripped off out of the money. And do you know who should be hard done by? You, the artist, because this guy's manipulated $10 million, which, let's face it, out of the 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion that's getting created, not the most amount of money. Let's face it, this is a smokescreen to me. This is not an either or thing. Both things can be true. Yes, he shouldn't have done that, but at the same point, you can't say he should get 60 years in prison when the entire music industry pretty much does exactly the same thing. And just because he's done it on a big scale shows he's got some consistency, but he didn't do it on anywhere near a big scale as some of the massive companies or labels have done in the music industry over the last 50 or 60 years. Right now, using AI to write music is like the Wild West. We have no idea how much AI is too much. And there's no policing. No one's telling us what is or isn't allowed. You would think that creating a track from scratch using just AI and a couple of prompts might be too much for you to then claim that it's yours and monetize it. But then it is your prompts. And so then who's the copyright going to? Out of all of the artists that it's taken little bits of inspiration from, are they getting any of the copyright? We just don't know. We don't know where that's it. But when it comes to the manipulation, let's not be let's not be green about this. Like, it comes to manipulation. Artists across the world of all sizes, including the biggest of the biggest of the big, are not 100% organic when it comes to their streams. So what we need better policing. We need better rules. We need better outlying. Until that point, sending some dude to prison for 60 years just feels a tad extreme. Or maybe I'm completely wrong and this guy should have the book thrown at him and he should be put in prison for 60 years. I don't know. I'm asking you because this stuff crops up now all of the time. Every day someone's asking me, what about AI and should I use it in copyright and legals, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know yet. Like, we don't know. We are at the precipice where the unseen is coming at us as fast as we can. So I want to ask you, I want you to let me know, where do you think AI is sitting right now when it comes to music and music creation, and how boomery should we be getting and saying 1% is too much, we should be doing all ourselves with art? And if that's the case, then we probably should go back to the recording practices of 1960s, because 2024 is a very different way of recording than it was in 1964. So where do we sit? Where do you guys sit? I want to know in the comments. Let me know where our AI sits, what's acceptable, what is unacceptable, and what should happen to Michael Smith. Free the one, Michael Smith. Let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.